All praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash. Next, I want to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Lord elect. To our letter and end-time headlines, get ready for grocery price hikes as Hormuz closure threatens global food supply. The worldwide energy disruption triggered by the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is likely only the first wave of economic fallout. Tied to the conflict with Iran, with food prices expected to climb next and remain elevated even after fighting subsides. That warning comes from research into how institutions shape supply chains and business operations, the same maritime choke point that handles about 20% of the global crude oil trade and a comparable share of liquefied natural gas shipments also carries roughly 1/3 of the world's traded fertilizer, a critical input for agriculture. Modern farming relies on careful timing and sufficient quantities of nutrients. When fertilizer shipments are delayed or become too costly, farmers face difficult choices: apply less fertilizer, reduce the area they plant, or switch to crops that require fewer nutrients. Each of those decisions lowers productivity, shrinking supplies of stable foods, livestock feed, and ingredients used across the food industry. Hyperinflation, Revelation 6 and verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. The oil and the wine is this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, this truth of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. In the NLT, and I heard a voice from among the 4 living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the olive oil and the wine. Hyperinflation. We're coming into the time of the Lord's judgment. The Heavenly Father, Yahawah, through his only begotten Son, Yahawashi, they're not playing. The Lord's getting ready to send a great famine upon this place. He's getting ready to send a famine of hearing this word and the actual famine of bread and water. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. We are in those evil days, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, that goes into the economy, and they're getting ready to tremble. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right, no future here. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Right, it's going to be no work. It's going to be no work for Egypt, which America is spiritually known as Egypt. Verse 2, Isaiah 19 and verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians, you Americans, you Babylonians, against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, civil war, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians, you Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And we believe that cruel Lord is Emperor Trump, DJ Donald Trump, Nero Reedy Vivos, as Elder Apostle Tahar calls him. I'm going to read that again. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, Emperor Trump, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, the Lord of hosts. You see, the Lord is taking the wisdom from these devils. Verse 11, it reads, surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. The modern day Pharaohs, Esau, Edom, them top banking families. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt, this modern day Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Nob are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. Verse 14, NLT, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi has sent a spirit of foolishness on them. So all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his vomit. 15 KJV, neither shall there be any work for Egypt with which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. There's going to be no jobs. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and they shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Right, because the Lord's getting ready to plague this place with plagues as before. Let's get that. 2 Ezra 15. And it reads, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity That's the unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, saith Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. That's the elect. And therefore, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. America is spiritually known as Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, you see? And will destroy all the land thereof, because that's the end all be all for Babylon the Great. America is going to be destroyed in the midst of World War III with thermonuclear missiles. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with the fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. It's going to see civil wars, race wars, class wars, economic woes. For there shall be sedition among men, a violent uprising against the government, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It's going to see military checkpoints, government shutdown, chaos in the city. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. It's going to be like a purge-like scenario. It's complete anarchy. And in the midst of all that chaos, behold, saith Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me. World War III, the War of Armageddon, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon's, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense of their bosom. Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi power. You see, this is for the controversy of Zion, for what you heathen have done to the Lord's people. Y'all getting ready to pay for it. Let's get 16. We'll start at verse 17, and it reads, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, in the days that we're coming into, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evil grow upon the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. You see, it's going to be war. The virgins, the young women shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, because the Lord is going to protect his elect. Those who are serving Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi in spirit and in truth, and begging for mercy and repenting, the Lord's going to protect his elect. Let's go Job 5:19. It reads, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. That 7th trouble is those nuclear missiles. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You see, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So I be telling you Israelites to repent, turn back to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's the only way out. Behold, the word of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Because let me get this precept. It reads, 1 Chronicles 16, verse 26, it says, for all the gods of the people, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi made the heavens, you see? And he's the God of the Israelites. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pain compass her wombs, which pain when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. See? That's the times we're coming into. We're coming into the time of the Lord's judgment. Jeremiah 28 and verse 7. It reads, Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me, and before thee of old, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, and of evil, and of pestilence. And that's what's coming. Let's get Ezekiel 7. And it reads, Moreover, the word of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi came unto me, saying also, Thou son of man, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi power unto the land of Israel, wherever the Israelites are, the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee. And ye shall know that I am Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, power in evil, and only evil, behold, is come. And end is come, the end is come. It watches for thee, behold, it is come. The Lord is getting ready to judge like never before seen. The day of the Lord is upon us. Zephaniah 1 and verse 14, it reads, The great day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. There's going to be a day of nuclear war. But leading up to that is going to be complete anarchy, chaos, lawlessness. Before the Lord comes, it's going to be, man, it's going to be terrible. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Quick, it's going to take the Lord 1 hour to destroy. For behold, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall be many. See, the Lord's not playing. He's coming in the midst of World War III. Revelation 19 and verse 11. And it reads, The coming of Hamashiach Yahawashi, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, that's Yahawashi's fathership. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. He's come to make war against all you heathen. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, because he come to cast all you heathen down. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. That goes into his rank. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahawah. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Those are the angels. How can I say this? Those so-called UFOs are the vehicles of the angels. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. All of you heathen are getting ready to go into captivity. Who's ever left over from the destruction, head first into captivity. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You see? Let's get that. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and the armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. You see? These devils are going to try to fight the Lord on his second coming. You see how it said the kings of the earth, right? This is what the Lord's doing. Behold, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me. You see? Which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense of their bosom. Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi power. They're going to try to make war with Yahawashi and the angels, but they're going to get obliterated. 2 Ezra 13, it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, you see. That's Yahawashi with the heavenly host. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. You see, where is that at? Verse 15, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. The Lord is going to give the command. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Let's get you see? And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And so when you go back to this white horse, you see, verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. You see, that white horse. Verse 6 and 13, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That's Yahawashi's fathership, a so-called spaceship, if you will, a UFO. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. You can't see the beginning or end of it. That's how big it is. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. But yet durst fight, because the Lord is going to put the spirit on you devils to make you fight. Y'all are going to be terrified. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. The Lord's just going to give the command. The so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Lord, they shoot out concentrated nuclear fire. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden, of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Y'all are going to get obliterated, all you devils. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole. The rushing into him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. You see, it's gonna be, man. It's gonna be the most greatest, scariest time on planet Earth. The heavenly realm will be here. In verse 11, it says, Joel 3 and verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. The heavenly host will be here in the midst of World War III. It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt a voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones, the prophets. I have also called my mighty ones, the Lord's angels, the angels of the Lord, for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, mustereth the hosts of the battle. The Lord is doing it. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Even Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Those missiles belong to the Lord. You see? And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass. And the sign shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. You see, he's coming in the midst of World War III, but prophecy has to be fulfilled. These devils have to bring to pass the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. It has to be made mandatory. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes, which were carried away prisoner out of their own land, in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. You see? Yeah, you devils getting ready, man. We getting ready to y'all getting ready to meet y'all maker. Y'all getting ready to meet y'all maker. And he not playing with y'all. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. You see? Shalom. Repent, you Israelites.